Okay, let us start. So the first chapter we are going to discuss in biology is the living world. Okay, so to introduce, the name of the lesson itself suggests that the living world. What does it mean? The living organisms present on the earth. Okay, so living organisms, எல்லா organismமும் நம்ம earthல இருக்கிறதுக்கு பேர் தான் the living world. Okay, so what is the study of living organism on earth? Okay, it is nothing but biology. So biology means bio plus logy. Bio means life, logy is the study. So biology is the study of living organisms on earth. Clear? Okay, so all the living organisms, past, present and future, are all linked to one another by sharing a common genetic material in varying degree. Okay, so all the living organisms on earth, ella living organism which was there in the past, which is there in the present, which will be there in the future, ellame it is linked by a common genetic material. Okay, for example, humans and chimpanzees, we have a very close relation. We have very identical genetic information. So this means that every organism has some sharing of these genetic materials. Okay. Okay, so next ஒன்னு வந்து நம்ம living organism சொல்லிட்டோம். So ஒரு living organism ஓட feature எப்படி இருக்கும்? What will be the characteristics of a living organism? What will be the characteristics of life? Okay, this can be defined, broadly defined into a defining feature and non-defining feature. There are two types of features இருக்கு. One is the defining feature and one is the non-defining feature. Clear? So the defining feature, there are no exceptions in it. Okay, whereas the non-defining feature, there will be exceptions. இதுதான் வந்து ரெண்டுத்துக்கும் difference. In the following slides you can understand. Okay, so what are the two criteria to fulfill a defining character? It should be present in all the living organisms and it should not be present in non-living organisms. ஒண்ணுமே இல்ல, two simple criteria. living organisms la இருக்கணும், non living organisms la it must not be there, it இருக்க கூடாது. So these are the two criteria to fulfill a defining character. Clear? Okay, so next is the characteristics of a living organism. So what are the different characteristics? Growth, reproduction, metabolism, cellular organization, consciousness and interaction. Okay, so these are the different characteristics of a living organism. Clear? So growth and reproduction, they are non-defining character. Okay, so already we saw there are two characters, defining feature is there and there is non-defining feature. Okay, so adula growth and reproduction, they are non-defining. Okay, whereas metabolism, cellular organization, consciousness, interaction, all these four are defining feature. Okay, we'll see about them in the following slides. First is growth. So what is growth? Growth na enna? It is an irreversible increase in mass and overall increase in size. Okay, ஏதாவது ஒன்னு ஒரு மாஸ்ல இன்க்ரீஸ் ஆச்சுன்னா or size வந்து இன்க்ரீஸ் ஆச்சுன்னா அதுக்கு பேர் நம்ம growth ன்னு சொல்லுவோம். Okay, so growth is irreversible, it is permanent. Okay, so பெருசாயிட்டு திரும்ப சின்னதானா, that is not called growth. Okay, it should be irreversible, it should be permanent, then we call it as growth. And there are two types of growth. Okay, one is increase in number and the other is increase in size. Okay, increase in number occurs in microorganisms. So for example, one microbe will divide into two and this two microbes will divide into four. The four will divide into 8 and it will likewise it will exponentially keep on increasing in number. So this is the growth in microorganism. But in humans, what happens? The size increases. Okay, a human fetus, how will it be? Initially it will be in very small size. It will be in some millimeters only. Okay, so grow aga it will become it will increase in size. Okay, that is the difference between growth in increase in number and growth in increase in size. Okay. Okay. So the next one is, how will growth be in multicellular organism? How will it be in unicellular organism? Okay. So multicellular organism means we can broadly classify them into plants and animals. Okay. So multicellular organisms, plants and animals. In plants, how will the growth be? The growth will be indeterminate, unlimited growth. Till they die, throughout their lifespan, they'll be continuously growing, the plants. Okay. Whereas animals, they have a certain period. Adukku mela they cannot grow. So the growth in plants is indeterminate growth, whereas growth in animals is determinate. Okay. Unlimited growth da vandu plants la. Okay. Limited growth will be present in animals. Okay. So in plants, the cell division will occur throughout their lifespan, whereas in animals, cell division will occur, but after certain period of time, what will happen? It will only replace the dead cells, the lost cells after certain age. Okay. So here, growth and reproduction are mutually exclusive. Multicellular organism பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் growth na வேற, reproduction na வேற. Okay. So growth is different, reproduction is different. They are two different things, mutually exclusive. Whereas in unicellular organism, growth same da, reproduction same da. Okay. Because why? Because unicellular organism la oru cell renda marapodhu. One cell is dividing into two. Okay. Only fission occurs. One cell will give rise to two daughter cells. Okay. So number is also increasing, it is reproducing, and same time it is growing. Okay. So here, in unicellular organism, growth is synonymous to reproduction, whereas in multicellular organism, growth is mutually exclusive. Growth and reproduction are mutually exclusive. Okay. So the next slide. Okay. Now we told growth and reproduction both are not a defining feature. Okay. The rendume, it is a non-defining feature. Why is it so? Okay. In growth can be of two types. Okay. It can either be intrinsic growth or extrinsic growth. Intrinsic na enna, it will occur inside. Extrinsic na outside. Okay. Intrinsic growth, extrinsic growth. So what will happen? Non-living things can also grow. So they show extrinsic growth. Okay. What we think, only living things grow. But the fact is that even non-living things can grow. They show extrinsic growth. Okay. For example, mountains, boulders, sand moles, etc. All these things, what they do, in all these things, what happens? Accretion happens. Accretion means what? Gradually, over a time period, there will be accumulation of additional layer of matter. ஒரு மவுண்டன் இருக்குன்னா அதுக்கு மேல 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 ஏதாவது கல்லு மண்ணு இந்த மாதிரி அக்யூமுலேட் ஆயிட்டே போச்சுன்னா the size of the mountain will increase. Okay. So such a type of extrinsic growth occurs in non-living things, whereas in living things, and intrinsic growth alone occurs. Okay. So this is the main difference. So when growth, இப்போ living things grow ஆகுது, non-living things grow ஆகுது. So how can we say growth as a defining feature? So okay, so we cannot say growth as a defining feature. அதனால தான் growth is a non-defining feature. Clear? Okay. Okay. First we saw about growth. Next, another, the second characteristic is reproduction. What is reproduction? It is the process by which organism will give rise to an offspring. One organism வந்து, it is giving, a parent is giving rise to a baby. Their offspring is called as reproduction. Okay. We can classify reproduction in based on the multicellular organism and unicellular organism. Multicellular எப்படி நடக்குது, unicellularல எப்படி நடக்குது. Okay. So in multicellular organism, it is always usually a sexual reproduction. In unicellular organism, it is asexual reproduction. So what is the main difference between the two? Sexual reproduction la there will be two parents involved. Okay. Whereas in asexual reproduction, only one parent is involved. Clear? Here, in sexual reproduction, the offspring produced will be genetically distinct. But in unicellular organism, it will be genetically identical. Why is it so? இப்போ ரெண்டு பேரண்ட் இருக்கு. So ரெண்டு பேரண்ட் கிட்ட இருந்தும் the offspring will get some genetic information, will inherit the genetic information from both the parents. So they'll share the genetic information of both the parents. Okay. Whereas, and they will share the genetic information of both the parents, and they will become a unique organism, a distinct organism. Whereas, inga pathona, in asexual reproduction, what happens? The offspring is nothing but a clone of the parent. Parent mari appadi accesala identicala irukkiradhu da vandu offspring in asexual reproduction. So only the offspring here is genetically identical. Clear? Okay. So growth and reproduction are mutually exclusive. Whereas in asexual reproduction, growth is synonymous to reproduction. That one we already discussed. Growth and reproduction where in sexual, multicellular organism, but in unicellular organism, it is similar. Okay. So here in sexual reproduction, we know fertilization will occur, meiosis is involved. Whereas asexual reproduction and the madri higher process, there is no fertilization, there is no meiosis. Clear? Okay. So this is the basics of reproduction. Now first is the sexual reproduction. So what happens in the sexual reproduction? A male parent, a female parent will be there. So they'll produce a male gamete and a female gamete. That is the sperm and the egg. Okay. Here the male gamete and the female gamete will fuse to form the fusing process is the fertilization. Fertilization nadana ennaagum, zygote is formed. The zygote will then develop by mitosis. Mass of cells will develop. It will differentiate to form the offspring. Okay, so this is the basis of sexual reproduction. So here, what happens in asexual reproduction? So there are various types of asexual reproductions. First is binary fission. The most simplest one is the binary fission. Oru cell, rendu cell aagradhu. Binary. Okay, what is binary? Bi means two. So binary fission. Fission means what? Splitting. Oru cell, rendu cell split aagradhukku per dhaan binary fission. Okay, so initially what will happen? A cell will be there. The most important thing is in the cell is the nucleus, because the nucleus contains the chromosome which contains the genetic information. Okay, first initially the nuclear division occurs. Okay, then the cytoplasm divides and it forms two different cells. This is binary fission. Okay. Next is budding. Okay, budding occurs in yeast cells, hydra, etc. Nothing. Here a new bud will be formed. See, here in hydra a bud is formed. A bud is formed. This will ultimately it will grow. Then it will become bigger and it will split and form a new life. It will form a new hydra. This is what is called budding. This also occurs in yeast cells. The buds will be formed. It will get separated and form a new yeast. Okay. Next is fragmentation. What is fragments? Fragments na enna? Kutti kuttiya cut agudhu fragments. Oru piece cut aguduna, that there will be two fragments. That is only called as fragments. So in animals like planaria, what happens? If it splits into three. Okay, and each of the three fragments, and each of the fragment will become a new organism. It will arise into a new life. Okay, that is one called as fragmentation. Whereas regeneration occurs in starfishes. What will happen? A part of the fish, a part of the arm of the starfish will get cut, and this will regenerate. Regeneration enna? Again it is generating. Pudusa generate agudhu. For example, even in house you would have seen about some lizards. You would have seen adukku vaal illana, it will again generate, again form agum. So that is only regeneration. Okay, in starfish, if it loses one of its arm, that will give rise to, that will again develop into a new organism. Okay, that is called as regeneration. Okay, next is spore formation. Spore formation mostly occurs in fungi. Okay, fungi, they form spores, when they don't have favorable condition. So ஒரு fungi grow ஆகணும்னா it requires some favorable condition. It requires moisture, it requires a suitable temperature, okay, and suitable nutrition, everything. If it is not having such things, அது வந்து ஒரு spora form ஆயிடும். Okay, spore means what? It is a dormant structure. எதுவுமே பண்ண முடியாது, அப்படியே ஸ்போரா வந்து அதோட டைம்காக ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டிக்காக it will wait. Okay, once they get the favorable condition, favorable temperature, favorable moisture, that will become a new organism. Okay, this is also a type of reproduction. This mostly occurs in fungi. Clear? Okay, so now we first we saw told there are two non-defining characters. One is growth. We saw why growth is not a non-defining character. Here we'll see why reproduction is not a defining feature. Okay, so what is the criteria for a defining feature? It should be present in all living organisms, but it should be not there. It should not be present in non-living organism. But or living organism வந்து many living organisms, they do not reproduce. Okay, for example, mules are nothing but it is an offspring of a male horse and a female donkey. That is only called as a mule. Okay, that is sterile. Usually that is sterile. It is used only for weight தூக்கிறதுக்கு அந்த மாதிரி work மட்டும் they use the mules. Similarly, there are sterile worker bees. Similarly, there are some humans who don't have babies. They are infertile, but they are still living. Okay, so reproduce பண்ண முடியலன்றதுக்காக we cannot say that they are not living. Okay, they are still living, but they do not reproduce. Okay, so இப்ப வந்து the defining feature ஓட அந்த criteria வந்து இது மிஸ் ஆகுது. It should be present in all the living organisms, but it should not be present in non-living organisms. But here some living organisms are also what to say, they do not reproduce. So we cannot say reproduction as a defining feature. Clear? So the two non-defining features, growth and reproduction, endadha pathiyum paathutom. We'll see about the next feature. Next is the metabolism. So metabolism is a defining feature here. Okay, so in a body continuously there are so many chemical reactions taking place. A body is composed of so many chemicals. Okay, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, sulfur, nitrogen, இதெல்லாம் சேர்ந்து தான் நம்ம உடம்புல வந்து நிறைய எல்லா matter இருக்கு. Okay, so all these things together, they have so many chemical reactions will be occurring in our body. So the sum total of all these chemical reactions which occurs in our body is called as metabolism. Clear? So metabol அப்படின்னா என்ன? It is a Greek term which means change or conversion. Okay, that is metabolism. All the total of all the chemical reactions which occur in our body is metabolism. Okay, so there are two components of metabolism. One is the anabolism and one is the catabolism. Two components which are anabolism and catabolism. Anabolism na enna? ஒரு simple substance ல இருந்து complex substance build up பண்றது. Okay, we are building up. It involves building up. That is known as anabolism. Whereas catabolism means breaking down. Okay, ஒரு complex ஒரு substance இருக்கு, which are breaking down into simple substance. That is only catabolism. Okay, so example of anabolism is your photosynthesis. Whereas catabolism, respiration. In photosynthesis, we are building up complex substances, whereas in respiration, we are breaking down the complex substance. So that is the two main difference between anabolism and catabolism. These are the two components of metabolism. Clear? Okay. The next feature is, now we'll see about growth and metabolism. What is the relationship between growth and metabolism? Okay, so growth depends upon the net result of the two component of metabolism. Okay, so anabolism and catabolism. A denotes anabolism, C denotes catabolism. Okay, so if anabolism is greater than catabolism, growth will occur. Okay, anabolism na என்னது? Small substance large substance build up பண்றது. If anabolism is greater than catabolism, growth will occur. When anabolism is equal to catabolism, no growth occurs. When catabolism is greater than anabolism, what happens? Negative growth, weight loss, அதெல்லாம் எப்போ நடக்கும்? When catabolism is more than the anabolism, then negative growth occurs. Okay, so this is the main relationship between growth and metabolism. Clear? Okay, so the next feature another cellular organization. Okay, so what is cellular organization? What is organization? Okay, what is small level and we are organizing into a bigger level. Adukku peru da organization. Cellular organization means the organization of cells. Okay, how is it? Initially ஒரு single cell இருக்கும். The cells together form this tissues. The tissues together form organs, organs form the organ system, and all the organ system together makes up the organism. இதுதான் வந்து ஒரு cellular organization. This is present only in living organisms. It will not be present in non-living organisms. So this is one of the defining feature of living organisms. Okay, the next one is consciousness. Okay, what is consciousness? It is the ability to sense their surrounding or environment and respond to stimuli. Okay, ஒரு நம்ம சுத்தி நடக்கிறத பத்தி நம்ம சென்ஸ் பண்ணி அதுக்கு ரெஸ்பான்ஸ் பண்றதுக்கு பேரு தான் கான்சியஸ்னஸ். ஓகே, சோ அந்த ஸ்டிமுலை எப்படி இருக்கும்? இட் கேன் பி a physical stimuli. பிசிக்கலா நமக்கு ஏதாவது சூடு படும் போதோ ஏதாவது குத்தும் போதோ இருக்கலாம். கெமிக்கல் ஸ்டிமுலை due to any chemical reaction, or it can be biological stimuli. Okay, so it can be physical, chemical, or biological stimuli. And one more thing in consciousness is there is something called a self-consciousness. Okay, humans are the only organism which are aware of themselves. நம்மள பத்தியே நம்ம தெரிஞ்சுக்கிறதுக்கு பேர் தான் self-consciousness, and this feature is not present in any other living organism. It is present only in the humans, a unique character in humans. Okay, so consciousness is one of the defining feature of life. The final feature is interaction. Okay, so interaction with other living organism, interaction with cells, etc. Okay, so all the living phenomena, என்னென்ன living phenomena நடக்குதோ எல்லாமே வந்து it has some interactions, it has some underlying interactions. Okay, for example, the properties of cellular tissue. Okay, it will arise as a result of interaction among cells present in the tissue. ஒரு டிஷ்யூ இருக்குன்னா அதுல எப்படி வந்து அதோட ப்ராப்பர்ட்டி எப்படி இருக்கும், அந்த டிஷ்யூவோட ப்ராப்பர்ட்டி எப்படி இருக்கும், இட் டிபெண்ட்ஸ் அப்பான் தி செல்ஸ் பிரசன்ட் இன் இட். அந்த செல்ஸ் எல்லாம் ஒண்ணுக்கு ஒண்ணு எப்படி இன்டராக்ட் பண்ணுதோ அதை பேஸ் பண்ணி தான் அந்த டிஷ்யூவோட ப்ராப்பர்ட்டி இருக்கும். ஓகே, சிமிலர்லி தி ப்ராப்பர்ட்டி ஆஃப் a cellular organelle, it arises as a result of interaction among the molecular components which comprises the organelle. Okay, அதுதான் வந்து பேசிஸ். ஒரு interaction மூலமா தான் all the living phenomena are occurring. Okay, and this is a key defining feature of living organisms. Okay, so what are the different so what were the different features we saw? We saw about growth, we have seen about reproduction, we saw about growth, reproduction, we saw about metabolism, cellular organization, consciousness, and interaction. So these are the characteristics of living organisms. Okay, just remember growth, reproduction, non-defining character, metabolism, cellular organization, consciousness, and interaction. MCCI, they are defining, whereas GR, they are non-defining. Clear? Okay. Okay, so everyone is clear of the characteristics of living thing? Any doubts you have? Okay, anyone has any doubts till here? Okay, no. Okay. Okay, then I'll continue. Okay, so next is the diversity in living world. Okay, So living world life na என்னன்னு பார்த்தோம், அதோட study na என்னன்னு பார்த்தோம், ஒரு life வந்து define பண்ற characters எல்லாம் பார்த்தோம். Okay, now we'll see what is the diversity in the living world. Okay, what is diversity? Okay, there's நிறைய இருந்துச்சுன்னா so many different varieties is called as diversity. So what are the different diversities in the living world? Okay, so இப்போ இங்கதான் வந்து in biology we have a term called as biodiversity. Okay, so what is biodiversity? It refers to the number and variety of organisms. For example, plants, animals, fungi, various microbes, monorems, etc. all are present together on the planet Earth. Okay, all these together, the number and variety is known as biodiversity. Clear? Biodiversity. Okay. Okay, now there is according to IUCN, International Union of Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources, till now they have discovered 1.7 to 1.8 million species of different organisms. They have been discovered till now. Okay. However, there are so many millions of organisms which are yet to be discovered. நம்ம கண்டுபிடிச்சது இவ்வளவுதான், but there are millions of organisms which are not yet been they have discovered. So these organisms are distributed over a wide range of habitats. Many organisms are present in deserts, forests, hot springs, okay, thermal vents. Likewise, there is so many habitats of different organisms. Okay, and the number of organisms are also higher in dense forest. Dense forest, there will be more organisms. Okay, and different plants and animals are known by their local names. ஒரு ஊருக்கு ஏத்த மாதிரி they have names for each of the organisms. For example, in India itself, each state we have a different language. So here in Tamil Nadu we have a different name for a plant. The same plant in Andhra or in any Bihar or Uttar Pradesh, they have a different name. They'll have a different colloquial name, local name. Okay, so எல்லார்கிட்டயும் இந்த மாதிரி தனித்தனியா நேம்ஸ் இருக்கும்போது it will be difficult for us to study the biodiversity. Okay, so here comes the need for classification and naming. Okay, so only we need then only they realize that there is a need for naming the organism which is similar all over the world. Clear? So the naming of the organism using a set system of terms is known as nomenclature. Naming is known as nomenclature. Clear? Okay, so nomenclature, ஒரு இதுக்கு நேம் கொடுக்கணும், ஒரு பிளான்ட்க்கு ஒரு அனிமலுக்கு நேம் கொடுக்கணும். Okay, so before giving a name, the identification of an organism is essential. Okay, first அந்த ஆர்கானிசம் ப்ராப்பரா ஐடென்டிஃபை பண்ணாதான் நெக்ஸ்ட் லெவல் நேம் பண்ண முடியும். Clear? So the scientists all over the world made a system, they established a system for giving a scientific name to each of the organisms which is accepted by all. Okay, அதன்படி என்ன, scientific names of plants, it is based on the International Code for Botanical Nomenclature. Okay, nomenclature, sorry. Okay, so ICBN, International Code for Botanical Nomenclature, ICBN. Similarly, the animal taxonomists, what they did, they formulated a different rules for giving name for animals. That is International Code of Zoological Nomenclature, ICZN. Okay, so remember these two, International Code for Botanical Nomenclature and International Code for Zoological Nomenclature. So these are the two nomenclatures we have. Okay, apart from this, there are other nomenclatures also. For microbes, we have separately, and for each of the systems, they have separate nomenclatures. This is the main important things for, like, when we broadly classify into plants and animals, idu rendum da vandu main aanadu. Okay, okay. So next point is that name for all the organism must be universally accepted. எல்லா ஆர்கானிசமுக்கும் யூனிவர்சலா ஒரே நேம் தான் இருக்கணும். It should be unique. Okay, and its description should enable people from any part of the world to know about it. And adoda description patti paarthale we should know, okay, this is the name of the plant. Yeah? So such a way the identification and nomenclature should be there. So once the scientific community decided in such a way, then came the binomial system of nomenclature. Binomial. Bi means what? Two. Okay. So a system of nomenclature which has two names. Binomial system of nomenclature. Okay. So each organism, the name of each organism, it has two components. Rendu component irukum. One வந்து generic name and the specific epithet. Okay. So generic name and specific epithet. Okay. Together it is known as the binomial system of nomenclature. Rendu name kudukadnala it is binomial system of nomenclature. It yaar kudutha? It was given by Carolus Linnaeus. He published this nomenclature in his book called the Systemae Naturae. Okay, Systemae Naturae. Okay. Next, we'll see about an example. Okay, what is the scientific name of mango? Scientific name of mango is Mangifera indica. Okay, Mangifera indica. So here, Mangifera is the genus name or the generic name. Indica is the species name or the specific epithet. So the name has two components, a generic name and a specific epithet. So Mangifera is the generic name, indica is the specific epithet. Clear? So this is the genus name, this is the species name. Okay, so this is the binomial system of nomenclature. So what are the rules of a nomenclature, binomial system of nomenclature? How all should it be written? Okay, first thing, it should be in Latin. Most of the biological names are generally in Latin and written in italics. Even if it is not in Latin, they will Latinize it. Okay, it should be in Latin and it should be written in italics. Clear? Okay. So in the scientific name of an organism, the first part is the genus and the second part is the specific epithet. Like we already told, like in Mangifera indica, Mangifera is the genus name and the indica is the species name. Okay. So what will happen when you're handwriting it? Okay. Handwritten scientific names எப்படி இருக்கணும்? ரெண்டு பார்ட் இருக்கு. So genus name, species name. So ரெண்டு பார்ட்டுமே it must be separately underlined. Clear? Separately underlined. When we are typing it, we must italicize it. Okay. So these are the two key points. Handwritten இருக்கும்போது both the genus name and the species name must be underlined separately, whereas when it is when we type it, we must okay, when we type it, we must italicize both of them. Okay, that is the key point here. Okay, so genus name எப்படி இருக்கணும்? Genus name ஓட starting letter வந்து capsல இருக்கணும், whereas the specific epithet, the species name, அதோட starting letter, it must be in small letters. Clear? So genus name ஓட starting letter வந்து capsல, species name ஓட starting letter small letters. So this is the main thing. Okay. Sometimes what happens, the name of the author will be mentioned after the specific epithet. For example, Mangifera indica it was given by Linnaeus. Okay, so how will it be written? Mangifera indica Linn, Linn dot. So this is the name of the scientist who described it or discovered it. Okay, so next we have something called as the principle of priority. What is principle of priority? How will we give priority for the name? Okay, so when we have a name, or first or name கொடுத்துட்டாங்கன்னா, and if that name is valid, we have to choose only that name without giving preference to the second name which comes later. Okay, usually it is like that. The second name will be considered a synonym, but preference will be given only to the name which was given first. Okay, so these are the 6 rules we must follow while writing the scientific name. Okay, this is the rules of the binomial nomenclature. It should be italicized, it should be in Latin. Okay, the first part will be the genus, second part is the species. Handwritten இருக்கும்போது ரெண்டு பார்ட்டுமே வந்து we have to underline it. Okay, when we are typing it, we must italicize it, and the genus name oda first letter வந்து caps la irukanum, species name oda first letter small la irukanum. Okay, and when we have the name of the author, we can write it after the specific epithet. Like for example, Linn, அந்த மாதிரி abbreviate பண்ணி we write the or the discoverer's name, and we have the principle of priority. So principle of priority means only the first name which was given first will be validated. It will be preferred. Okay. Okay. Now we saw taxonomy, the biodiversity pathom, binomial nomenclature ellame pathom. Why there is need? What is the need of classification? Edunala classify pananum. Okay. So what is classification? It is a process by which organisms are grouped into convenient categories based on some easily observable characters. Okay. So ஒரு ஆர்கானிசம் இருக்குன்னா அதை வந்து எப்படி குரூப் பண்ணும் ஒரு கன்வீனியன்ட் கேட்டகரி வச்சு அதுக்கு என்னென்ன சிமிலாரிட்டிஸ் இருக்கு டிசிமிலாரிட்டிஸ் இருக்கு அதை வச்சு we can classify the organism. Okay, but when we told that there are millions of organisms, biodiversity எவ்வளவு millions இருக்கு, unknown organisms எவ்வளவு இருக்கு. So இவ்ளோ organism separate படிக்கிறது it is not practical. Okay, so only when we have a concept of classification இருக்கும்போது we group certain organisms. இந்த மாதிரி group பண்ணும்போது what happens, we can easily classify the organisms. Okay, that is that is why we need classification. For example, plants having roots, shoots, leaves, flowers, அந்த மாதிரி வந்து we can classify. Mammals வந்து we can classify with external ears, body, hair, etc. Okay, similarly, how will we classify a dog? Or a dog, it will have some features, so only we are classifying it into a separate thing. Okay, same in case of other organisms also. So based on our convenient category, we can classify the organisms. Okay, the scientific name, the term for these categories is called as taxa. Ido classify பண்ற the scientific term வந்து என்னன்னா, it is called taxa. Okay, a taxon is a group of one or two population of an organism or organism seen by taxonomists to form a unit. So taxon is the unit of classification. Okay, it is the unit of classification. It is a group of one or more population of an organism or organism seen by taxonomists which forms a unit. Clear? Okay. So the taxa can be either big or small. Taxa on the it can be a big taxa or it can be a small taxa. For example, plant is a form of a taxa, is a bigger taxon. Plants in general it is a very big taxon. Okay, அப்ப வந்து நம்ம அதுல கொஞ்சம் கிளாஸிஃபை பண்ணி இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் கம்மி பண்ணி சொல்லும்போது flowering plants னு சொன்னோம்னா it will become little smaller. Okay, so flowering plant is also a taxon but smaller than the plants. Okay, similarly animals னு சொன்னா it will be a big taxon, whereas அதுல இருந்து தனியா வந்து mammals னு சொன்னா it will become smaller. அதுல இருந்து mammals ல இருந்து cows தனியா எடுத்தோம்னா that is even smaller. Okay, so there are different levels of taxons. Okay, it can be either big or small. Next one, all living organisms can be classified into different taxons. Okay, that is only known as taxonomy. Classifying different taxa is known as taxonomy. Okay, so what is the basics of appa vandu initially vandu when we don't have much of technology, initially it was only based on the external structure. Classification vandu eppadi irukanum, like for example external ear iruka, body, hair iruka, andha madri da vandu they classify. But now with the advent of modern science, what is the we use internal, external structure, cell structure, the development in ecological information, molecular level la vandu information vachi we are doing classification in modern taxonomy. Clear? So the characterization, identification, classification and nomenclature, these are the basis of taxonomy. Characterize பண்ணனும், identify பண்ணனும், அதை classify பண்ணி அதுக்கு name கொடுக்கணும். Okay, so these are the basis of taxonomy. Clear? Okay, so here if modern times what we do, we not only classify different organisms, we also study about the relationship between organisms. ஒரு organismக்கும் இன்னொரு organismக்கும் how is it related no வந்து we are seeing it modern times. Clear? So this studies on these things are known as systematics, dealing with characterization of classification and nomenclature of organism based on the diversity and evolutionary relationship among themselves. This is known as systemics. Systematica nama vandu we are studying. both classification பண்றோம், relationship studies பண்றோம். That is known as systematics. Okay, now what are the different taxonomic categories we have? Okay, so classification can never be done in a single step. That is a huge process. அது ஒரே ஸ்டெப்ல நம்ம பண்ண முடியாது. Various levels இருந்து பண்ணனாதான் வந்து we can classify an organism. Okay, for example, we are classifying a dog. So dog னு ஒரு taxon இருக்கு. Okay, but the same dog belongs to when dog belongs to the taxon animals. Generally animalsலயும் வந்து dogs இருக்கும். Okay, mammalsலயும் dogs இருக்கும். Okay, likewise இந்த மாதிரி இருக்கும்போது we have a variety of problems. Okay, ஒரே ஆர்கானிசம் நம்ம நிறைய taxonல போட்டுருவோம். So taxon வந்து ஒரு யூனிட்டா இருக்கிறதுனால we need hierarchy for classifying an organism. The organisms are actually classified in hierarchy of taxa. Okay, hierarchy of taxa. So the studies have led to the development of several taxa categories. What are they? From the lowest is the species. Then we have the genus, family, order, class, phylum, and the kingdom. Clear? Species, genus, family, order, class, phylum, kingdom. These are the hierarchy of taxonomy. Clear? Okay. So next is the first we'll see about species. Okay, the lowest level pola. First we'll see about species. What are species? They're a group of similar organisms, okay, which can interbreed freely among themselves. That is known as species. Okay. Okay, sorry. We'll start. Species are a group of similar organisms which can interbreed freely among themselves to produce a fertile offspring. That is known as species. Okay, so species na enadhu? Group of similar organisms which interbreed. Adungalkulleye vandu they can interbreed. That is known as species. So what do? They share a common characters. இப்போ ரெண்டு ஸ்பீஷி ரெண்டு ஆர்கானிசம் இருக்குன்னா ஒரு ஸ்பீஷிஸ்ல இருக்கும் போது they have common characters, so only they are placed under the species term. Okay, so two closely related species have distinct morphological difference. ரெண்டு ஸ்பீஷிஸ் closely related இருக்கும், பட் அவங்களுக்குள்ள வந்து ஏதாவது ஒரு morphological difference இருக்கும். So based on that only we are keeping them into separate species. For example, here இதுல வந்து எது வந்து ஸ்பீஷிஸ் நேம்? Mangifera indica, Solanum tuberosum and Pantheroleo. ஓகே, இதுல வந்து Mangifera, Solanum and Panthera இதெல்லாம் தான் வந்து ஜெனீரா. ஓகே, whereas Indica, Tuberosum, Leo இந்த இதெல்லாமே வந்து specific epithet, that is the species name. Okay, so next is genus. What is genus? It is a taxon at a higher level than that of the species. Species ka aduthu irukkiradhu genus. Okay, so each genus may have one or more than one specific epithet representing different organisms. Okay, but they'll have several similarities with the morphological characters. Okay, ஒரு genus இருக்குன்னா they'll have more than one specific epithet, more than one species இருக்கும் அந்த genusக்குள்ள. Okay, ஆனா எல்லாத்துக்கும் வந்து என்ன similarity இருக்கும்னா they'll have some morphological similarity. For example, Solanum வந்து இந்த ஜீனஸ்ல வந்து there are two different. Solanum nigrum ஒரு ஸ்பீஷீஸ் இருக்கு, Solanum melanchona ஒரு ஸ்பீஷீஸ் இருக்கு. Okay, so Solanum nigrum is nothing but your black nightshade. Tamil manathakkalinu solluvom. That is Solanum nigrum. Whereas Solanum melanogaena is the eggplant, the brinjal we eat. Okay, that is melanogaena. They have similarities. They have some morphological similarities, but they are different. They're placed under the they're placed under the same genus, but they are different species. This is the example. Okay, similarly we have the Panthera. Okay, Panthera it includes tigers, the tigers, lions and leopards. It is included in the Panthera genus. Clear? And what about human beings? Human beings, we are of the species sapiens and genus Homo sapiens. Okay, this is the scientific name of humans. We are the only genus with a single species. Human beings in the Homo genus it is the only genus with a single species, that is the humans. Okay, so after genus we come to the family. Adutha hierarchy another family. Okay, what is a family? Group of related genera with considerable number of similarities but lesser than the genus and species is called as family. Okay, இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் similarities இருக்கிற genus எல்லாம் சேர்ந்தது தான் வந்து it is a family. Okay, in plants the families are categorized on the basis of vegetative and reproductive features. For example, 3 different genera of Solanum, Petunia and Datura. Okay, இது எல்லாமே வந்து it is placed under the family Solanaceae. Solanaceae family ல தான் வந்து Solanum, Petunia, Datura மூணுமே இருக்கு. Okay, in animals la pathona what is the example? Genus Panthera pathom. So genus Panthera la enna irukku? Lion, tiger, leopard, all the cat family. In the cats ellame vandu it is there in the genus Panthera. Okay, here Felis is in the family Felidae. Cats and dogs on the other hand are placed in the different families. Okay, so Felidae and Cansidae. Okay, இது வந்து respectively of the same order. Clear? So Panthera வந்து என்னது? It has the lion, tiger, leopard. இது எல்லாமே வந்து put together in a genus. Okay, that is only family. It belongs to the family Felidae. Okay, so family is a group of related genera which has certain number of similarities. அடுத்த hierarchy வந்து order. Okay, order is an assemblage of families which exhibit a few similar characters. நம்ம hierarchyல கம்மியில இருந்து அதிகமா போயிட்டே இருக்கும்போது what happens, the number of characters will decrease, number of similar characters will decrease, because the broader we go, the number of characters, the number of similar characters we are looking for will get decreasing. Okay, that is the concept here. So order is an assemblage of families which exhibit a few similar characters. Okay, so the similar characters however are less in number as compared to different genera included in the family. அடுத்த ஃபேமிலில இருந்து அடுத்த ஹைரார்கி ஆர்டருக்கு போகும்போது இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் similarities கம்மி ஆயிட்டே தான் போகும். Okay, so example is here Carnivora, order Carnivora. So here it includes Felidae and Cansidae, ரெண்டுமே cat family and the cats and dogs ரெண்டுமே வந்து in here it is included. Next is class. Okay, so this category includes the related orders. Related order la சேர்ந்து வந்து ஒரு class form பண்றாங்க. Okay, இதோட example வந்து order Primata. Okay, Primata means what? It comprises of monkeys, gorillas, gibbons, etc. All are placed under the class Mammalia. Okay, Mammalia la they have been placed along with other order Carnivora that includes animals like tiger, cats, dogs. So here 2 different orders, they are forming a class. Class Carnivora, class Mammalia. ரெண்டுமே வந்து order Carnivora and order Primata. ரெண்டுமே வந்து it belongs to the class Mammalia. Okay. Next hierarchy is the phylum. Phylum, what is this? This category includes classes with few similarities. For classes பார்த்தோம், classes with few similarities இருக்கிறது வந்து together they form the phylum. Okay, example is phylum Chordata. Chordata ல வந்து என்ன இருக்கும்? It includes fishes, amphibia, reptilia, aves, mammalia, etc. இது எல்லாமே together it is included in the phylum, chordata. Okay, because the common feature is presence of notochord of dorsal hollow neutral system. Okay, that is the common feature. ஒரு similarity வச்சுதான் வந்து we are grouping all these chordata. This is the common feature here. Okay, so the next highest hierarchy, the highest category of taxonomy is kingdom. Okay, so kingdom வந்து broader we classify into animal kingdom and plant kingdom. So animals are present in the kingdom Animalia, plants are present in kingdom Plantae. Okay, so lower the taxa, more are the characters. The number of similar characters will decrease as we go higher. Like I already told you, இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் higher hierarchy போக what happens, the similar character will decrease. Okay, so higher the category, greater the difficulty in determining the relationship between taxon. For example, Plantae, இப்ப kingdomனா ரொம்ப பெருசு. So it has either animals or plants. So Plantae kingdomல it has all the plants. So அதுல போய் நம்ம ஒரு plant எடுத்து search பண்ணி அதோட character பாக்குறது, it is very difficult. Okay, however, இப்போ வந்து நம்ம வந்து ஒரு species levelலயோ இல்ல class levelலயோ when we are at a lower hierarchy, அப்ப வந்து நம்ம போய் ஒரு species ஒரு organism search பண்ணும்போது the study is getting easier. Okay, that is the main important point here. Okay, so with this the hierarchy is over. Okay, so what are the hierarchy we saw? So taxonomic categories என்னெல்லாம் பார்த்தோம்? We saw kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. Okay, so இது எல்லாமே வந்து we have seen now. You have any doubts? Any doubts you have? Okay, shall I ask you some questions? Okay, at the end of the class, I'll give you some questions for answering. Okay. Okay, now we saw what is taxonomy, what are the different hierarchy of taxonomy, okay, and all those things. Now we'll see about the different taxonomic aids. Okay, we'll see about the different taxonomic aids. Okay, so what is the economical significance of taxonomic studies? எதுக்காக ஒரு taxonomic study பண்ணும்? What is the economical significance? நமக்கு அதனால என்ன யூஸ் இருக்கு? Okay, so the study of plants, animals and other organisms can be helpful. We are doing all these things for utilizing the okay, so all the data we get from these the study of plants, animals, other organisms, இதெல்லாம் பண்ணும்போது we get certain important data, bioresources, biodiversity, அத பத்திலாம் we have the data which can be utilized in agriculture, forestry, other industries. இதெல்லாம் யூஸ் பண்ணும்போது the economic significance of these things will increase. Okay, that is the main importance of economic importance of taxonomic studies. அதனால தான் வந்து நம்ம taxonomic studies பண்றோம். Okay, so what is the need of taxonomical aid? Okay, so it is required to study in a lab as well as in a field. ஒரு ஐடென்டிஃபிகேஷன், ஒரு கிளாசிபிகேஷன், ஒரு ஆர்கானிசம் பண்ணும்போது அது வந்து நம்ம ஒரு லேப்ல ஸ்டடி பண்ணலாம், ஒரு it can be studied in a field. Okay, so that is the need of அப்ப வந்து we will require a taxonomic aid. Okay, what is a taxonomic aid first? Can anyone answer? What is a taxonomic aid? Okay. An object or an instrument which is used for studying taxonomy is known as taxonomic aid. Okay, that is only taxonomic aid. So why we need taxonomic aid? For future studies. Futureல வந்து இப்பவே நம்ம வந்து preserve பண்ணி எல்லாமே வச்சிருந்தோம்னா futureல when we are studying it will be easier for us. அப்ப வந்து இந்த மாதிரி organisms இருந்துச்சு அந்த மாதிரி நம்ம வந்து study பண்ணலாம். Okay, so biologists have therefore established certain procedures and techniques so to store, preserve the information as well as the specimens which will act as a taxonomic aid. Okay, so அதுக்காக தான் வந்து biologists what they do, they preserve these informations, they store these information so that in future it will be used as a taxonomic aid. Okay, the first and foremost important taxonomic aid is the herbarium. Okay, in plural we call it as herbaria. What is a herbarium? It is a storehouse of collected plant species that are dried, pressed and preserved on sheets. Okay, this is nothing like what we do. ஏதாவது பூவெல்லாம் இருந்துச்சுன்னா if we keep in a book, inside a book and close it and keep it for a longer time, what happens? It will get dried and it will become a specimen மாதிரி ஆயிடும். Okay, இதே concept தான் they use in herbarium. What they do, they will take a plant specimen, they will dry it first, they will press it and they'll preserve on certain sheets with the data. அத பத்தி என்ன information வேணுமோ அதுக்கு கீழ எழுதி அத வந்து ஒரு they keep it in sheets, ஒரு arrangement of sheets பண்ணி அத வந்து they store it. This is this is what is called as herbarium. Arrangement of sheet is done according to a universally accepted system of classification. Okay, so the specimen plus the description on the herbarium sheet together we call it as the together it will be used as a repository for future use. Futureல நம்ம யூஸ் பண்ணும்போது future studiesக்கு வந்து யூஸ் பண்ணும்போது அந்த specimen மட்டும் இல்லாம அது கீழ அதோட descriptionம் இருக்கும்போது அத பார்த்து it can be utilized for future studies. That is the main concept here. Okay, and there are certain rules how to label, how to collect, how to preserve and the herbarium we have different rules. Okay, that has been followed worldwide. So label at the base of the sheet for providing information like date kandipa irukanum, endha place la collect pannanga. Okay, the English name English la irukanum, so the local, the botanical name irukanum, family ennan therinjikanum, the collector oda name, who has collected the specimen avangaloda name irukanum. So all these things should be there in the label, should be there in the description. Okay, so this is the first point. So what are the steps involved here? First வந்து we have to collect the specimen. இப்ப ஏதாவது ஒரு பூவோ இல்ல அதோட சீடோ இல்ல பார்க்கோ ஏதாவது கலெக்ட் பண்றீங்கன்னா first we have to collect it. அதுக்கப்புறம் the next process is dry பண்ணினோம், completely it must be dried. Okay, then do something called as poisoning. What is poisoning? They use 0.1% of corrosive sublimate or mercury chloride. They use that and they poison the specimen. That process they call it as poisoning. In the chemical use பண்றதுக்கு பேரு poisoning they are calling it. Okay, next what we have to do, we have to stitch it. Okay, stitch the herbaria, then we have to label it. Label with all those informations I already told, date, place and எல்லா informations இருக்கிற மாதிரி label பண்ணிட்டு we have to deposit. Okay, deposit எப்படி பண்ணோம், we deposit in the respective herbarium. Okay, so they have a size in the herbarium sheet வந்து internationally they have given இந்த sizeல தான் இருக்கணும் அப்படின்னு வந்து they have some rules. Okay, what are they? 41 into 29 square centimeters, approximately 16.5 to 11.5 inches. Okay, அதே மாதிரி the label oda size and the describe பண்ற label oda size எவ்வளவு இருக்கணும்னா it should be 7 into 12 centimeters. அதே மாதிரி fragrant package will be used for seeds, extra flowers or loose plant parts எல்லாம் இருக்கும்போது fragrant package எல்லாம் வந்து நம்ம அதுல போட்டு they keep it. Okay, so this is about the herbaria. It is the most important taxonomic aid used till date. Okay. Okay, now we saw what is herbaria, how they do everything. What are the two types of herbaria? there are either major herbaria இருக்கு minor herbaria இருக்கு. Major herbaria எங்க இருக்கும் national levelல இருக்கும். Okay, whereas minor herbaria நம்ம local regional levelல நம்ம stateல நம்ம காலேஜ் யூனிவர்சிட்டிஸ் அந்த மாதிரி லோக்கல்ல இருக்கிறது வந்து மைனர் ஹெர்பேரியா, சின்ன ஹெர்பேரியா. whereas national level we have some of the herbarias which will be the major ones. Okay, so worldwide what are the important herbarias there which are present? First is the Royal Botanical Garden, Kew England. Okay, that is the important herbaria. Then British Museum of Natural History, then Royal Botanical Garden, Edinburgh. Okay, in India we have three. Okay, Central National Herbarium, national herbarias, we have three national herbarias. Central National Herbarium, Kolkata, Herbarium of Forest Research Institute, Dehradun, and the Herbarium of NBRI, which is present in Lucknow. These are the three important herbarias which are present in our country, the national herbarias. Okay. Okay, so next is the botanical gardens. Okay, so botanical gardens in the national parks now we see it as a recreational centers, but actually these things have been created as a taxonomic aid. ஏன்னா இதெல்லாம் வந்து நம்ம preserve பண்ணி future studiesக்காக வேணும்ன்றதுனால we have built all these things. Okay, the first one is botanical gardens. They are nothing but specialized gardens where living plants are grown for scientific studies, taxonomic studies க்கு reference காக grow பண்ணி specialized gardens தான் வந்து botanical gardens. Okay, so each plant will be well labeled. They will be identificating its botanical or scientific name and its family. Okay, அந்த மாதிரி வந்து well labeled வச்சிருப்பாங்க எல்லாத்தையுமே. That is only the botanical gardens. What are the famous botanical gardens in the world? Real Botanical Garden, Kew England. In India we have Indian Botanical Garden, Howrah, National Botanical Research Institute, Lucknow, Lloyd Botanical Garden in Darjeeling, and in Tamil Nadu we have it Ooty. Okay, Ooty Botanical Garden. Next is the zoological parks. Okay, botanical garden madri, botanical garden are for plants. Adhe madri for animals we have the zoological parks. Okay, to preserve these animals for future studies. Adoda complete description or details order they preserve these animals. Specialized places where living animals are kept in protected environment. Okay, under human care is known as a zoological park. Okay, example is the National Zoological Park, Delhi. In Tamil Nadu we have in Chennai we have Arinjaranna Zoological Park. So all animals in a zoo are provided as far as possible the condition which is similar to the natural habitats. Natural habitats எந்த மாதிரிலாம் இருக்கோ அது அந்த அளவுக்கு நம்ம வந்து facility provide பண்ணி animals வந்து care பண்ணிக்கணும் இந்த மாதிரி zoological parkல. That is the concept of zoological parks. Okay, so next is museums. What are museums? They are place where they preserve dead plants, animals. There will be various specimens there. Okay, so museums are mainly set up for educational purposes. Primarily the main goal of museum is educational purpose. So they have collections of preserved plants, animal specimens for studying and reference, and they will also have specimens which are preserved in containers, jars. You would have seen with blue liquids formalins la potu vandu specimens ella vechirupanga. Okay, so all these are for mainly for educational purposes kaga preserve pannadu. Okay, so the dry specimens of plants and animals will also be preserved. Insects will be preserved in insect box. Adukapra larger animals will be usually stuffed and then preserved. Okay, all their body parts will be removed. On the outer idu mattum vechittu ulla vandu preservatives ella vechi avanga preserve பண்ணுவாங்க. Okay, then we have the skeletons of animals. Various animals or skeletons preserve பண்ணிருப்பாங்க. Similarly, every specimen will be labeled with all the necessary information we require. அதெல்லாம் வச்சு name பண்ணிருப்பாங்க. Example is your National Museum of Natural History, which is present in Delhi. Okay, so the next anatomical aid is the key. What is a key? Key is another taxonomical aid used for identification of plants and animals based on the similarities and dissimilarities. It is a device used by biologists for identifying unknown organisms. Okay, so how is it done? So keys are generally analytical in nature. They are based on the contrasting characters, generally in a pair called as couplet. Okay, so there will be two opposite options from which a choice is made. Thus, one is accepted and the other is rejected. Okay, இதுதான் வந்து கீயோட கான்செப்ட். will be analytical in nature. ரெண்டு கான்ட்ராஸ்டிங் கேரக்டர் இருக்கும். ஓகே, ஒரு கேரக்டர் வந்து அக்செப்ட் ஆகும், ஒன்னு வந்து ரிஜெக்ட் ஆகும். அப்புறம் each statement in a key is called as a lead. lead. Okay, leadன்றது தான் வந்து ஒரு கீயோட ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட்டுக்கு பேரு. So separate taxonomic keys will be required for each taxonomic category, such as ஒரு familyக்கு, genusக்கு, speciesக்கு we have separate taxonomic keys. Okay, this is what is the final taxonomic aid. Okay, apart from all these things, we also have other taxonomical aids where வந்து other different taxonomical aids are present. For example, flora, manuals, monograms. Okay, so we have flora, manuals, monograms, catalogs. இதெல்லாம் வந்து we call it as recorded descriptions. Okay, so what are they? Recorded, ஏற்கனவே record பண்ண descriptions are called as are the examples. Flora, manuals, monograms எல்லாமே. Okay, they help in correct identification, and flora is the account of plants occurring in a particular region. Flora na enna? We know flora and fauna. Flora is the plants which are present in a particular region. Fauna is the indigenous animals which are present in a particular region. Okay, so manual contains listing and description of these plant species found in the area. Or manual, நம்ம சொல்லுவோம்ல கேட்டலாக், மேனுவல், ஆல் தீஸ் திங்ஸ் என்ன இருக்கும், அதுல வந்து எல்லாத்தோட டிஸ்கிரிப்ஷனும் இருக்கும். ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் கேட்டலாக்னா அதுல வந்து என்னென்ன இருக்கு அப்படின்றது இருக்கும். அப்ப கேட்டலாக் ஆஃப் ஃப்ளோரா இன் அ பிளேஸ்னா அதுல என்னென்ன பிளான்ஸ் இருக்குன்ற லிஸ்ட் இருக்கும். Okay, that is only called as a catalog. Similarly, monograms are also similar. It contains systemic study of a particular taxon. Okay, அதுதான் வந்து monograms. So these are the other taxonomical aids. Clear? So with this I've completed the other taxonomical aids also. Okay, any doubts? Any doubts you have? Or any part you need to repeat? Should I repeat some part? Okay, so once again I'll just brush up. Today what we saw about the chapter living world. Okay, so living world enna paathom? We saw the introduction. Biology means study of living organisms on earth. So we saw there are two different characteristic feature of life. One is the defining feature, one is the non-defining feature. So, and there must be two important criteria. One வந்து it should be present in all the living organisms. It must not be present in non-living organism. இதுதான் simple two criteria of to what to say fulfill a defining character or a feature. So இதன் படி என்ன, growth and reproduction they are non-defining, whereas metabolism, cellular organization, consciousness, interaction, all these things are defining. Okay, then we saw about growth. Growth na enna, it is both increase in number, increase in size. அது வந்து growth will be irreversible, growth is permanent. Okay, then we saw how will growth be in multicellular organisms la growth எப்படி இருக்கும், unicellular organisms la growth எப்படி இருக்கும். Okay, then we saw ஏன் வந்து growth is not a defining feature. Why is growth not a defining feature? because even non-living things grow. அதனால வந்து அத நம்ம வந்து சொல்ல முடியாது. We cannot differentiate between living and non-living using growth. So it is not a defining feature. Next we have reproduction. Okay, what we saw about the difference between sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction. Then we saw how sexual reproduction occurs. Then asexual reproduction, a different examples பார்த்தோம், binary fission, budding, fragmentation, regeneration, spore formation, etc. Then we saw why reproduction is not a defining feature, because many living organisms, they do not reproduce. Okay, then we saw metabolism. Okay, components of metabolism பார்த்தோம், growth and metabolism பார்த்தோம். Okay, what is the relationship between growth and metabolism? Then we saw about cellular organization, consciousness, and interaction. Okay, with this we completed the different features of living organism. அதுக்கப்புறம் the next part of the lesson is diversity in the living world. What is biodiversity ன்னு பார்த்தோம், எவ்வளவு species இருக்கு, what is the need for classification பார்த்தோம். Okay, so what is nomenclature, what is identification, what are the different principles used for naming plants or naming animals, etc. அதெல்லாம் பார்த்தோம். Okay, then we saw the binomial system of nomenclature. Binomial system of nomenclature வந்து எப்படி வந்து நம்ம names of scientific names of various organisms எப்படி எழுதணும் அப்படின்னு பார்த்தோம். Okay, அதோட rules என்னன்னு பார்த்தோம். There are 6 different rules இருக்கு, அது எல்லாமே பார்த்தோம். Okay, then other then we saw various taxonomic categories. Okay, அது வந்து என்னென்ன various hierarchies இருக்கு, from species, genus, family, order, class, phylum, kingdom. இது எல்லா hierarchyயும் வந்து we saw. Then we saw about the taxonomic aids பார்த்தோம். Okay, how will we study taxonomy? Taxonomy வந்து எது வச்சு study பண்ணலாம் அப்படின்றது வந்து we have seen. Then we saw different taxonomic aids. What are they? First one is herbarium. Then we saw botanical gardens, zoological parks, museums, key. Okay, and apart from this we saw other taxonomical aids. Clear? Okay, with this we have completed the lesson. Any doubts or any part I need to repeat, you can comment now. Okay, so Joyce Mary, she's asking about the 3 international herbariums. Okay, so if you want to note it down here. These are the important herbarium of the world. Okay, the Royal Botanical Garden, Kew, England, British Museum of Natural History, and the Royal Botanical Garden, Edinburgh. Okay, so these are the 3 important herbaria of the world. Okay, any other doubts? Okay, let me ask you some questions. I want you to answer in the comment section. Clear? Okay. Okay, please answer in the comment section. What is anabolism? Okay, my question is, what is anabolism? Please answer in the comment section. Okay, Joyce, Mary, Kiroshni, Deepika. Okay. Others, please type your answers. Okay, very good. So what is anabolism? It is the building up process. Okay, anabolism is a component of metabolism which involves the building up of substances from a simple substance to complex substance. Very good. Okay, so when anabolism is greater than catabolism, what happens? What happens when anabolism is greater than catabolism? How will it affect on the growth? Very good. Joyce, Mary, Guru Priya, Kritika, very good. So when anabolism is greater than catabolism, growth will occur. Okay. Okay, how is reproduction in microorganisms? How is reproduction in microorganisms? I mean to ask, how is the relationship between reproduction and growth in microorganism? Reproduction and growth in microorganism. Okay, synonyms. Kritika, very good. Okay, what is synonyms? How is reproduction and growth in microorganism? Okay, others? Inclusive. Okay. So reproduction and growth in microorganism, they're not two different things. They are the same thing. Okay. Reproduction one da, growth one da. Okay. They multiply also, they grow also by the same means. Okay. So it is known as synonyms. Very good. Okay. What happened to others? Others, I can see so many other names. Whatever you know, please type. Okay. I don't know whether the names. There is Jivita, Omega, Jaya Shakti. Okay. I wish everyone will answer this question. Okay. What is the highest hierarchy of classification? What is the highest hierarchy of classification? Very good. Kingdom. Okay. Others? Okay. Aarti. Others? Okay. Others are there? I get answers only from a few people. Okay, why is reproduction a not defining character? Why is reproduction a non-defining character? Answers, please. Why is reproduction a non-defining character? Very good. So, many living organisms, they do not reproduce. So, reproduction cannot be called as a defining character. Okay, what else? Okay, what are the various rules of binomial nomenclature? Rules of binomial nomenclature. Each one give me one rule. Okay, what are the various rules to be followed while writing a scientific name? The binomial nomenclature. Very good. Joyce Mary has told that genus name must be capital. Starting of the genus is capital. Good. Guru Priya, species name should be in small letters. Okay. Others. Type your answers. Kiroshni should be underlined separately. Okay. While handwritten, if it is handwritten, it should be underlined separately. Okay, if it is typed, it must be in italics. Okay, not in written. If it is typed, it must be in italics. Okay, Deepika, handwritten should be underlined. Okay. Others. Okay. Inventor's name after species name. Okay. What is the principle of priority? What does principle of priority mean? What does principle of priority mean? Anyone, what does the principle of priority mean? Very good. So the first name, Kritika, first name is accepted as universal one. Okay. First name will be given preference. The name which was first suggested will be given preference. That is the principle of priority. Okay. Okay, if I give a scientific name, Homo sapiens, which is the which is the generic name, which is the specific epithet. Homo sapiens, which is the generic name, which is the specific epithet. Very good. Okay. So species name is also known as specific epithet. So Homo will be the genus, sapiens will be the species. Okay. So others, I see so many, but none of your Annie. Someone's name is D, Annie, Omega. Yeah. All of you are there. Any doubts you have? We have 3 more minutes, I think. If you have any doubts or if you want me to repeat something. Okay. Any doubts? Okay, clear. Okay. Okay, we have 2 more minutes. If you have any doubts, we have time. Next class, we'll discuss on biological classification. The next topic, biological classification. Sir?
Hello?
Sir, complete பண்ணிட்டு sir. End பண்ணிடவா?
Okay, madam. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you all. We'll see you in the next class. Thank you.